This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by European Bantamweight champion today here in Charlie Edwards. Charlie, I appreciate your time, especially so close to Christmas. You just said you're back from Christmas shopping. You made a bit of time for me, so always appreciate your time. And how is everything, my friend?
Yeah, everything's good, mate. And I always make time for you, mate. You're a good guy. Keep doing the good stuff and the positive stuff for the sport, man. I like the way you interview, and I like the work that you put in behind the scenes as well. So anytime, mate.
I appreciate the kind words, Charlie. We'll dive straight into things. 2024 is now coming to an end. Another year gone, another year that's gone by far too quick. We've just been talking off camera again about how fast this month alone has gone, but the whole year's gone very, very quick. And a very successful year for yourself. We've seen interviews from yourself in the past where you've mentioned not ever being sure if you were going to be in this position that you're in right now ever again. And the two fights, you came back in March, then went on and took on Thomas Asomba, a very durable opponent for the European. And you've really set yourself up nicely heading into next year. So we'll start off, let's go back to March and look at the fight against George Ori. How do you reflect on that fight now so far down the line?
It was the perfect fight. It was a great fight. Ori is a great champion, former IBO world champion, won a load of other titles, former European champion. He was a top operator, and I took him on 5 years without a championship fight. 5 years. This is what I say, and I keep elaborate on it. This is one of the best British comebacks in British boxing that I'm in, and what I'm doing right now after being messed around, after all these situations that's gone on over the last few years, which are very well documented. So I don't really need to go over that at all. But yeah, it was a fight that I wanted. I wanted to be in a championship fight. I wanted to jump straight in with a good operator, a good fighter, coming off the back of a 6 fight win streak as well. Um, and yeah, so I was inactive. I only had like my last fight before that in the year was only a I think it was 6 rounder. So it was a good comeback fight. That's why we named it "Don't Call It a Comeback" because I never went nowhere. But yeah, Ori is a great fighter and a great champion, and I showcased a very good night's work. I won very comfortably, hardly getting out of a gear. Um, I showed how teaming up with Stephen Smith had benefited me. I showed who I am and why I believe in myself so much and why I've continued to pursue the sport of boxing after achieving greatness, becoming a WBC world champion, being at the pinnacle and at the top of the sport, and being left for dead and in the graveyard. I managed to persevere and keep taking no for an answer and keep pushing forward. And it showed a lot about me in the Ori fight. Um, and the way I performed, it was like I didn't leave the sport of boxing. So it was nice to be in um, a, a top operator. It was nice to be in with a top operator, and it was also nice to be in and pick up a title again. So yeah, it was great, and it announced me back in a proper fight, which then pushed me into the world rankings. Um, I was then put in the top 15, and then moving on to that, I wanted the next title, and so be it. Thomas Asomba had the title at the time, European champion, and it made perfect sense. Stars aligned. Obviously, my brother was managing him as well, so it allowed me to make a good fight because we all know Thomas Assomba's a great fighter and always upset the apple cart wherever he's gone, even when he was supposed to be beaten. And he's only ever lost by like 1 or 2 points to other operators at the top, a 2 times Olympian and a fighter that a lot of people in England didn't really want to entertain because they know that they're either getting beat or it's a very, very tough night's work at the office. And I chose to go full steam ahead into that fight. To be fair, I wanted that for my first fight with the Ori fight, but because of Channel 5 and the TV dates and the budgets and etc. It couldn't happen in my first fight, so the second fight it had to be in the next quarter, in the final quarter of the year, and it was good for me. It was a good personal growth journey, you know. I faced demons, I faced doubts, I faced everything in between, which has helped me grow and grow massively, you know. Also, I went up against my old team, Still City, and I know they would have done absolutely everything and anything to get one up on me. So it was another personal growth journey. I had my good friend and old gym mate Dalton Smith in the corner of Thomas, shouting all the way through, which was another battle, mental battle that I had to face on the night of boxing. I also built a great fight with my brother, but there was still pressure on the line, you know, with the public perception. Um, yeah, I couldn't have gone out there and got beat. Do you know what I mean? But I had all the odds stacked up against me, really. My old team who know me inside out, trying to do everything to beat me, and also my brother playing his part, which made a big fight build up and bought the eyes and the views. And really, it put me back in big time boxing. So it was the risk reward that I had to take. Also, boxing twice on Channel 5 has been great because the viewing figures were well over 1 million each time. And yeah, it's relit my fire and relit my career, you know. So 2024 has been an amazing year. You know, it's been the year that I've needed to bounce back. And I think it's a year that I've gained a lot of respect from a lot of the boxing world who may have thought I was done or may have thought that I was playing at it when they didn't really know the full extent of the story of what I've been put under and everything that I had to keep getting through. And yeah, now we're back in big time boxing and just announced my next fight. And looking forward to a very prosperous and abundant 2025. And I believe it's a year that I really shine and I announce myself big time and I also go and get a world title.
Before we look at 2025, I've just got a couple more questions on the year that you've had. I want to go back again to that fight in March. And you mentioned all the things you showed that night in showing your class and showing that it almost looked like you never really left. The one thing that has really stuck with me since that fight is your post-fight interview on Channel 5.
Mm.
And for a fight of that wasn't near the magnitude of your world title fights and wasn't on that same level, but you could see the raw emotion and it does show the care for the sport. And I think that's where people start to realise that Charlie Edwards is back. But obviously, again, a long time down the line now, here in December. How good was that moment and what was going through your mind after that fight? And you can just see the emotion all completely pour out of it. You can see it pour out of you.
I'll be real with you. It was many times, where I just thought I would never get back to where I belonged, and I've sacrificed my whole life for this. You know what I mean? From a kid of 11 years of age, I'm now 31, like 32 in February. So like I'm 20 years deep into my passion that have I love dearly and that I work hard every single day. It takes up my headspace every single day. It was such a painful journey to get back to that point where I had a promoter backing me. I was back on TV where I belonged. I got to showcase because I'm a showman, like, and I always raise to the occasion. And to be back in that position where once upon a time I would have took a fight at York Hall for granted, it was just so amazing to be in that position again. It was even the whole fight week. It was emotional for me. I walked past York Hall to go and meet my wife in her hotel to go for a little walk. And as I walked past it and looked up at it, all these thoughts, feelings, emotions going through my head. I was crying walking past York Hall, just like with a happy, joyful kind of like mad emotional experience. Like it was weird. It was like I was just thanking God that I'm back in the spot that I've worked so hard to get back to, and all the dark times that I've had to endure, and kept believing in myself that it would one day come back again when some days I lost hope. It was a very emotional time for me. So it was just like I was buzzing to be headlining. I was buzzing to be back on on TV, which is Channel 5, and I was just buzzing to be fighting again in a title fight. So it carried the emotion through until even the ring walk. When I stepped out on that ring walk, mate, and the song that played, it meant so much to me that I had to hold my emotions together because it meant that much. Like it was getting the better of me, and the fact to go out there and perform like I did, with them emotions and feelings, it's leveled me up tenfold, and sitting there on the ringside when the emotions got the better of me and it was done and it all spilled out. This is how much this game means to me. I've given my heart, my soul, my life, um, my family time, my sacrifices to the sport of boxing, and I'd give it absolutely everything. So when it got to the stage, it felt like I fought for world titles in front of 20,000 people at the O2. You know what I mean? I've headlined the Copper Box Arena, but this was a special, special moment of my career where it felt like that I was getting my career back. It felt like when I watched the George Foreman movie, and after all that time out, and he started getting his get back, and it was just like I don't know, it was a lot for me, but it was great. I leveled up from that, and then we moved forward on that. So it just goes to show how much I want the sport. I reaffirmed to myself that this is my life. This is what I want so badly, and being kept away from it all made that inner desire and inner hunger that much stronger. And I was emotional, but I was also relieved and happy that finally I was delivered what I thought I deserved.
I'm going to go for a bit of a different question here, but what would how proud would the Charlie Edwards in that period where you thought you were going to be forgotten about and you thought you'd never be back where you are now? How proud would that Charlie Edwards be if the Charlie Edwards sat here right now talking to me, looking at the position you've got yourself back into, despite all the shit you've been through over the last couple of years?
Yeah, definitely. I am proud of myself, and whenever we get caught with a little challenge or a little blip or a little bump in the road, like there is in everybody's walks and lives right now, like I always sit there and I think, rah, where was you 18 months ago? And look where you are now. Like you would have bit anybody's hand off. Like, I had five offers on the table for like that, five offers, different offers on the table to pick for my next fight. Like I didn't back 18 months ago, I didn't have one offer. So like I just remind myself, I'm like, oh fucking hell, I don't know where I'm gonna go. Like I don't know what to pick, what to do. Like I want to make the right choice because it means so much to me. And then like 18 months ago, I was like, actually, I need to change my mindset. I should be grateful because I would have bit anybody's hand off 18 months ago to be in this position now. So the Charlie of today is very proud of the Charlie of that time because it really added character to me. It really added growth, um, and solidly it's built a man who knows what he wants out of the sport of boxing and knows how fucking hard he's worked to get here, which I take uttermost confidence and I have uttermost faith in the steps that I'm taking on my journey. I feel godly. I feel unbeatable right now. I feel like the personal level of growth that I had to endure to get to this point makes me an unstoppable character, and it makes me a dangerous contender in the bantamweight division.
Just looking at the Thomas Asomba fight again, a fight that really, I think, capitalized on that family feud thing without it being, and I know we saw the idea toyed with in the past, Edwards versus Edwards. It was, in a sense, Edwards versus Edwards with
Yeah,
Sonny. I remember when the fight got announced, and straight away I was like, wow, so Sonny is going to be against his brother. Then Sonny straight on social media saying, I am Team Asomba for this one because he's got to provide for his fighters. And it just created a really special event. And for a York Hall fight, it had a much bigger buzz than a fight that was only going to be a York Hall. It had that type of buzz of a fight that was going to be in a big arena and a lot of people were talking about. And we saw the viewing figures, we saw how many people tuned in. And I think it shows how clever you and Sonny can really be because you've used that narrative and created an absolutely a monster type of fight with you and Thomas Asomba. Having that with Sonny, how good was that to bounce off each other and create such a stage for such a fight?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great fight to be involved in. Um it was a special moment of my career, and we got to share it together, all credit where credit's due to my brother, yeah. And I'm not naive to think this. He's helped me come back to the light from putting his neck out on the line, just as like I helped his signing be so positive and so thing by calling him out and making it like a bloody viral moment, which caught so many eyes. He repaid that favor and done it for me when I needed it the most. So I got a lot of love from my brother, but I also want to add that he done the best job managerial for his fighter Thomas Asomba as well, which put him in a position where maybe the critics were going against him because of me and Sonny, and it made it a bigger night of boxing, and it felt like big time boxing, even though it was at York. And but he done right by not only his brother because he gave me the opportunity of the Who Needs Him club. Do you know what I mean? People have been trying to keep me out for so long. Not only did he help me with my biggest opportunity to get the European title, which I never won before, but he also provided Thomas with his best opportunity to fight a former world champion who has a big profile and who was highly ranked in the WBC and the IBF. So it allowed Thomas to have a golden opportunity to, whoa, if I beat Charlie, I'm going to be in for a world title shot in a voluntary defense or something because someone would probably have picked him. So he done a great job. He handled it very well. He didn't go in Thomas's corner, which I had a lot of respect for. But we kind of knew what we was playing the game to get big time boxing back. And you know what? Me and my brother work very well together, especially in the sport of boxing. We are chalk and cheese. I think a lot of people can see that. We're just totally different ends of the spectrum and we're different people, but that complements one another. And like my brother's still in the sport of boxing and he's going down the managerial route heavily now. He's actually flying out here in January to join my team. So my team gets stronger with an extra brain and extra IQ. Um, so yeah, it worked out perfect, that fight week. And it was a lot of pressure on me. And I chose to be the one who had to go through the fire. And I've realized that walking through the fire in the sport of boxing and in life only gets you the reward that you deserve. It's it's about having faith over fear. So yeah, that fight week was great. Me and my brother are closer than we've ever been for a very long time. And we've shared a great journey now, especially because he's retired now. The last year, we've really been in each other's pockets and really been in each other's sides, supporting one another, more so than we did when we had a bit of a fallout a few years ago, which was well documented. So um, it's nice.
Obviously, you mentioned obviously Sonny and now being retired. I just want to get a couple of questions in on that as well. Obviously, we saw that massive build up, the Edwards Yafai rivalry had been brewing for years and years and years. And I'm not going to say we saw it come to a conclusion because I'm sure it's probably going to continue again down
Never
the
over,
line, no
mate.
doubt. It's never over. Um,
Never.
but just that night, while the result didn't go your way, we've always known Sonny to be one of the realest characters in boxing and won't hide away from saying how it is. And I think we saw a real moment of Sonny realizing that it was the end. Obviously, to us, it looked like that's when he realized, but he mentioned that he wanted to retire for a while now, or it'd been on his mind. In that moment, in defeat, we still saw such strong character. And just how do you summarize that night, 30th of November at the Resorts World Arena? How do you look back on that?
It was heartbreaking for me, um, and for the family. But like when your mind is not in the sport of boxing and in the ring, and it's a dangerous place to be in, a very dangerous place to be in. But I have kind of known that Sonny has checked out from the sport of boxing a long time ago. I have actually seen things firsthand, which the media, people on the outside doesn't see, And Sonny is a phenomenal talent. He always has been a phenomenal talent, but he started to not work so hard in the training aspect of when he was on the up and coming and chasing the world titles and the big title defenses. He got a bit complacent, and in the sport of boxing, you can't cut corners, and it's a shame that it happened on the Yafai Edwards bill. You know what I mean? But I know what really went on in Sonny's training camps for a long time, even before the Bam fight. People, if I really said what was going on, people would have their chins to the floor and be like, "Wow, how has he got away with it for so long?" But I think a lot of people do know, and a lot of people do talk. And he has lost. He's lost the eye of the tiger, as he calls it, for the sport of boxing. And at that moment, um, he was already talking about retirement in the training camp. He was already talking about things and sparring and stuff and after sparring and that, which didn't conversations didn't really sit well with me. And I was trying to pull him up on it and trying to change his mindset and stuff like that. But I think when someone, especially like Sonny, with a strong level head, makes his mind up, that's what it is, and we could see that in that ring. That was not Sonny Edwards. Like, I think the world and everyone in it who knows Sonny Edwards and how he performed against um the Alvarados, the Michelin Maruttis, like in them kind of fights, that weren't the guy who stepped in the ring on that night, and that's what saddens it. But he's happy with his decision. I'm happy with his decision at this moment in time. Who knows what the future holds? Who knows how his mindset changes, or if it ever does? Or he's got a good job with the zone. He's flying around the world. He's living the life of boxing, but also the life of luxury and Riley as well, without putting in the killing gruesome in hours in the gym. So will he ever come back? Who knows? And only time will tell with that. And if he decides to, I will be the brother to support him through that. And if he ever does, we need to have some serious conversations, and he needs to have some serious conversations with the man in the mirror if he's ever going to want to perform like he did once upon a time. And but at this moment in time, he's happy with retirement. I'm happy with his decision in retirement, and he seems to be enjoying life. And yeah, it's decision that that we're all happy with as a family.
Do you feel it shows a lot of character on Sonny's end in terms of in that post-fight interview? He was very open about everything, not just the post-fight interview in the ring, but I was at the post-fight press conference as well. And you could see how open he was, and there was no excuses. He didn't make anything saying like this went wrong, this went wrong. He said Galal was the better man. He beat me tonight. That's that. It takes a lot of character to be as open as what Sonny is to the people and the media at times, doesn't it?
I mean, Sonny's a smart kid, and he said that because that he knows that the better man won that night. And if Sonny had done everything like he should have done and been dedicated the last few years, the better man would have won that night. But he says it how it is. Galal was the better man, the hungrier man, the more determined man, the man who you could tell was possessed in the way he went about his work and how he's probably been training in the GB setup, probably in an altitude tent. Like, come on, we're in a percentage game, and when your percentages lack in the most important part of the sport, the training and the living the life, it's inevitable that you're not going to be the better man on the night if and especially an Olympic gold medalist, But we played the game. We built a great fight. We built a great event. Um, yeah, like I tried to give my best to take a bit of the light away from him and cause a scene and a ruckus all week with the Yafais. But we built a great fight, and let's be real. He retired in the ring, and all that I've seen is Sonny Edwards, Sonny Edwards, Sonny Edwards. So it's it was a great retirement journey and a retirement story, and yeah, he's happy with it, and I'm happy with it. You know, it's a dangerous game, and he's earned a lot of money out of the sport. You know, so and he will continue to earn through his other fighters he manages and through his works and jobs and stuff. So yeah, the future's bright for Sonny no matter what.
Just one last thing before we then look forward at 2025 and a year where you believe you will be back on top.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, we've mentioned how this chapter of your career feels so much bigger than the previous chapter. Obviously, that previous chapter does hold world titles. It holds a hell of a lot of achievement. But does this one feel so much bigger because of the attention that not just Sonny, but yourself as well, the Edwards brothers have brought back down to the smaller weight divisions that don't get the eyes on it, but now the eyes are back on it. Is that why this chapter now feels so much bigger than that previous one?
Um, yeah, in a sense, I suppose. But for me, the why this feels so much better is like when I was younger, I used to chase the fame. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I used to um want gratification of how good I was because I worked so hard and I was young and I wanted to make my name. I wanted to earn my money. Like I was a very immature mindset type of guy. Um, I haven't actually thought of that kind of angle, which you asked me the question of, because my why and my reasoning and everything has changed a lot since I've been away from the sport of boxing and just grafting. I don't look at it as that anymore. I don't want to like. All right, it's nice to for someone to stop you and speak to you and that, but why I'm in this sport of boxing is for me, for my goals that I've set and my achievements I want to achieve. And to it's me versus me now. That's how I feel like, and I just want to push my career to the highest of heights that I possibly can because I'm not naive to think one day this is all going to come to an end. You know, I'm 31, I'm 32 in February. You know, I've lived a very good life. I've trained extremely hard, even in my downtime when I haven't been been having fights. So I'm fresh as a fighter still. I got a lot of success early at 25, and now this stage of my career, I'm looking to build legacy. Like that's why, hence why I'm fighting the fight I'm fighting. Did I need to fight that fight? No, no one called for it, but I chose to fight that fight because I'm building a legacy that I can look back on one day and be like, I done everything I set out to in the sport of boxing, and I pushed myself through the dark times to be the man who become the man and done it, and I can pat myself on the back, not get outside gratification or verification from people. It's because I want to achieve. And that's why I'm in this now. You know, that's why these next few years, when I say few years, like I'll probably be going till I'm 40. Like because I'm obsessed and I want to push my career to the maximum it can, and that's to go up and down weights. And when I'm back on top now, it's back to back big fights. I'm not on. I'm never gonna fight an 8 rounder again. I probably won't fight a 10 rounder again unless it's that I have to for a title. But it's for me, it's championship fights only, you know, and big nights, and that's what I want to be a part of.
You